Let's talk about it, though, the art of war. First of all, congrats on the Emmy. We haven't talked to you since then. Congrats on everything.
Appreciate
Congrats
it,
on your
brother.
kids kicking ass, your family being awesome. Legit, you're doing it. Hey, you're doing it. You're doing it, man. All of it. All of it. You're doing it. You're balancing it. You're managing it. And you're crushing it. You should be incredibly proud of yourself, dude.
I appreciate it, man. It's I gotta obviously shout out my wife, bro. She the catalyst. She the foundation of it. But these kids have been they've been impressive to us as parents, man, and it's been fun to watch their journey. Y'all know my wife was a pro basketball player, so we understand what this world is like. But not in this day and age. It comes with a lot when your kids are this visible and getting this notoriety. But super proud of them, bro. And again, today in particular, one of the best things is that my people have reached out to me, like you, Pat, and Dan O, and my NFL Live crew, and people around ESPN, man. It's just been phenomenal to watch them celebrate my son, and not only my son, my daughter as well, who's going to go play volleyball at Texas this year for her freshman year. So it's been amazing, man.
What is she? What position?
She's going to play 6 rotations. She'll probably be an outside hitter.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
4 balls all day. Bang. You a volleyball dad? You in there?
100%. Sweating and everything. Cussing out the line judge. For sure.
I think that's why we all shouted you out, though, because we followed along online. Because you're not on TV as much as everybody else. And we put in requests and everything like that. And it's like, he's not working today. Can he get you next week or whatever? And it's like your focus on your family has been like, I think all of us have so much respect for it, especially with how it's all going. So, like, you should understand that we all massively respect the shit out of you.
For me, bro, I love y'all, man, and it's always, the respect that I have for my colleagues, bro. But in the summer, man, I like to lock in on my kids, bro. Like they're having a different journey. They're not just playing sports. It's a lot of stuff that's coming at them that my wife and I want to be around to make sure we can manage. That they don't understand at 16. My son just turned 16 4 months ago, bro. So it's a lot coming at him. It's a lot that was coming at my daughter. So we like to be present. And fortunately for me, at ESPN, I'm about to sound like the biggest company guy that's ever existed. But they have really been respectful in the off season in knowing that I'm gonna lock into my kids and make sure everything going well on this end.
Well, that's awesome, especially if you say, hey, this is how it's going to be. And obviously the relationship with ESPN is great. I appreciate you doing that. And you talk about being 16 years old just 4 months ago and all the things that they have going, so you like being present. We have had a couple kids do their commitment on our show, and it's so cool. And we had one kid come in here, Tyler Atkinson, came in here with his dad and his family and everything like that. First of all, your wife played in the WNBA. You're in the NFL. We knew we probably had a good chance, right? We knew we probably had a good chance with the size and the body and the athleticism and everything. But it's like these dudes nowadays. We got guys coming on the show. He's like 6'4", 220 as a 17-year-old. Yeah. We got this other dude who was, 6'8"?
Jay Cruel.
6'8", 350.
350, offensive tackle. He's 17-year-old. He's going to go play a high schooler next week. Like, that it is insane to think about. But the maturity you have to have with all of there's a lot of business happening right now.
Yep.
There's a lot of business seemingly happening. So I appreciate you being involved. Is that what you're referring to, though, right? It's all the business that's taking place?
That's what I'm referring to, bro. It's so, the business part of it is a big deal. Fortunately for us here in Texas, you can't do any NIL until you're 17. And they just passed that law. So they're a little bit late to the party when it comes to that. But, it's still, people still reach out. They still trying to get them to be a part of a lot of things that they're doing. But again, man, like, his focus is obviously school and basketball, and we trying to keep it that way in a world that want to treat these 16, 17-year-old kids like they 25, 26 years old. And, that's why that foundation that my wife has really laid, because she's here doing the grunt work every day, bro. She's in the midst of it. When I get into, how it is, Pat, like when I get into the season, bro, we gone. Like the time is occupied. So I'm calling and she giving me the information, but it's crazy, dude. If a deal would have came to me for $15 at 16, I would sign every piece of paperwork they had.
That's what I'm saying. Like, congrats to you and your wife working your ass off to have your kids in a position that they're in right now. But it's like, what the stories we're hearing on this show me, when I'm 16, 15, 17 years old, not only me, like my parents, my whole family, basically probably the whole neighborhood is like, how much are they paying to do what? It's like, yeah, we will certainly do that. How much do I got to give up? 20% for the rest of your life. But you won't really... Who knows? You know, it's 80% of a lot is a lot better than 0% of, you know, like those things.
The fortunate part we gonna have is people know not to bullshit me. Right? You and I, we still doing deals. We still doing bargaining deals. I'm current on what contract should look like. Yes. I'm current on equity and how much you should be paid and how long can you use the name and all of that type of stuff. So, and it's something that we had to obviously refresh ourselves on, but we understand what's coming across the desk. So it's not just a bunch of people putting papers on our table and being like, look, here's $50,000, but now your son don't own none of his name or rights or image or anything like that. So we've passed a lot of things up that people have raised their eyebrows and was like, okay, we're not going to be able to bullshit the Spears family.
Hey, well, congrats on that. That's got to be incredibly difficult waters to navigate for the modern, you know, parents and everything. So good luck to all you. Legit. Yeah. Let's talk business now. You've been chatting about it all morning, obviously, because it's a hilarious quote. Here's Jerry Jones at the Netflix premiere of the documentary. Run it, Foxy.
Well, I do believe if we're not being looked at, then I'll do my part to get us looked at. The beautiful thing for networks or, if you will, streaming companies is that the NFL is a 365-day-a-year interest factor. A lot of programming, you have to spend as much to make it, to promote it, as you do to make it. The Cowboys are a soap opera 365 days.
The streaming will begin
when it gets slow.
Please take your seats.
And so it's wonderful to have the great athletes, have the great players, but there's something more there. There's sizzle, there's emotion, and if you will, there's controversy. That controversy is good stuff in terms of keeping and having people's attention.
The more bullshit, the better. that is good. So all anybody ever says, Swagu, and you know this because obviously you've been in there, it's hard enough to win a game, right? That's what everybody talks about. So now the owner's coming out and actually giving away his game, and he says, hey, my game is that the controversy's good now. Let's not get this crazy. What are they talking about? Cowboys. Okay, so we take a 20, 30, 40, $64 million hit on salaries that we could have paid earlier. You know how much money we're gaining in valuation on the other side? Shit, $150 million. So you start doing the math, all of a sudden we're up $90 million. Who's smart? Me, they're dumb. But are you going to ever win that way? Are you ever going to win that way? Is this something that we all kind of thought about Jerry, but then once he says it, it's like, okay, so this has been the plan. And does it worry you that potentially you're never going to be able to win like that?
Pat, yes, because your value as a player is tied into success, bro. Like that is the awful part about what Jerry said. Yeah, you getting your money and everybody understands what you've done to promote this brand and build it. But to say that loud and in public is, Pat, you know this. I've been screaming that the Cowboys ain't trying to win the Super Bowl. And people in Dallas can't stand when I say it. Because they act like I'm lying, like I'm supposed to live in this fantasy world of, yeah, we doing what it takes to win. The blueprint is out there of how you try to win the Super Bowl. And Jerry just told everybody, yeah, it's great to have the great players and all of that, but there's more.
Sizzle. There's no sizzle.
We not even focused on football. That's what he just said. Yeah. He said, look, yeah, we got Dak and we got CD and we got all these great players, but there's more there. Bro, we talking about football, full stop. Like there's not supposed to be more than winning and putting the best team on the field and making sure your star players are paid and you got everybody on the field. It is clarity for anybody that was on the fence about what's important in Dallas. And it's super unfortunate for players. And Pat, this is what I always say. What the hell are the coaches supposed to do with that?
Yeah, I started thinking about like Mike McCarthy there, his entire run, how'd they win that many games, his entire thing. And then you think about Shoddy. Like, I think Shoddy's going to be a good coach. I think Shoddy's going to be a good coach. I got a chance to meet him. Obviously, he's literally his entire life in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that means he's going to be great at being a head coach, but from what I've seen from him, I think he would be a great head coach personally.
Pat, imagine this. Imagine you coaching. This is shoddy. Imagine you coaching in the NFL for 25 years, waiting on your opportunity, and the owner of the team that you the head coach says, winning ain't that damn important.
Controversies, what we're, little reality TV. I don't know if you know that.
More money, bro.
More money, are you?
Get out of here. But I'm not surprised. Because I get my ass kicked all over the internet and all over the place when I say Dallas not trying to win a Super Bowl by my own. Some of my boys who are Cowboy fans. Mo, you ain't supposed to be saying that. What you mean they ain't trying to win? Well, they know now. Some of my boys they've given up. They're in disgust.
Nice.
They're right now in position of trying to find what team they're going to root for. Now I'm gonna stay with Dallas because I'm a glutton for getting my ass beat.
Okay.
And I love them.
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
And all of that. But at the end of the day, I haven't been under this figment of imagination that a Super Bowl has been the most important thing to this organization. And the owner just told everybody that is true. So y'all can get off me and take that energy to Jerry.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Take the energy up top there. The guy who is... We're looking at the sizzle. Now, the steak is okay. We're not going to beat Roos. We're not going to beat Roos Chris. Okay? The steak is what the steak is. What we specialize in is the sizzle. You know when that son of a bitch is coming out with the salt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, salt bay.
That's what Jerry.
The fixins
and the birthdays.
Yeah. And, sword. Yeah, that's what Jerry's supposed to be a wrestling promoter. That's what he was supposed to be.
Truly,
that's what he's supposed to do.
But instead,
that's what he's supposed to do.
He bought the highest valued sports franchise in the history of sports, which is what he would look at and say, excuse me, is this not what we are all trying to accomplish here? And it's like, well, I think what a lot of people are trying to accomplish is the Super Bowl. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are looking at. And with Stephen Jones, you know him probably better than I do. I don't really know anybody down there. I've had massive respect for Jerry Jones, mostly because I respect how big of a gambler he is and how he goes all in and the type of guy he is. I think that entire thing. I watched him with Joe Buck. It was a phenomenal interview. I'm like, that guy's a dog. I'm a fan. You talk about your friends having clarity and like getting off the fence or whatever. I've had clarity. I'm like, all right, I think Jerry's lost his fastball. I think he's lost the narrative. I think Jerry has kind of lost it. Now that moves on to the boys now, the entire family, because his landman speech, from what I've been told, is how he actually felt. Like, hey, you do business with your family, you can hand it off someday. So he takes a lot of pride in that, which I respect. Is Steven going to operate the same way he is? Because I've heard Steven say some things now, right? This offseason that's like, hold on now.
Unless you've been getting the information from somebody else. Here's the conundrum, Pat. Like, we not a monolith. Like, you can like something about a person and respect something about them and hate some other shit that they do. That's just what it boils down to.
Respect. But
ultimately, when it comes to Steven, what should be different? Our valuation is $12.8 billion without winning anything of significance, right? So as a family, when you're saying we need to keep this money train that's been rolling forever rolling, there's a certain way to do it, and my dad has showed us how, right? So you are asking him to go against the apple cart. Here's what you hope, though. You hope that Steven understands that there's collateral damage in that route. And that collateral damage is your coaches, your players, and everybody. And hopefully the money that's being spent on the Dallas Cowboys as far as how they promote it and brand it is going to start to be spent on the football team. And also the narrative of how about this, Pat? Pat, I got it figured out.
Okay.
Sitting here talking to you.
Sun Tzu. This is Sun Tzu.
Homies. Art of War.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Art of War. Right.
Rest in peace.
How about we separate? How about we just take the Dallas Cowboys and football, right? Like the building, the coaches, the players, the general manager, the head of scouting, Will McClay, and we separate that when it comes to the day-to-day operations from you trying to create drama and all of the bullshit that's going on.
So you're saying we take here's the entire facility. Remember, we got this entire thing, Jerry World. Yeah. We got a practice field, outside practice field right here. You can buy apartment complexes right here that overlook into the practice facility.
Yes.
Then here's an indoor practice facility, and you can actually buy VIP tickets that you can overlook the practice that has happened. Now, I will tell you, I think they are the only company or team in the history to ever let people watch their practice if you pay an amount of money, or let you live next to their practice if you pay a certain amount of money. What you're saying is, let's take these fields that are, keep the apartments, keep the VIP perch. Yeah, have them just look at a building. Take the fields, there we go. Take the fields, take them down the street, have them down here, and let Jerry do his shit up here. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or just go practice at one of the high schools when nobody's there.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice. They're very nice.
Jerry,
We got 13, 14 high schools here. I'm 5 minutes away from where you just showed. It's a lot of places they could practice. Remove them. Just isolate that part of it, and then when the cameras come on, you can say what you want to say.
AP Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Swagu, I feel like you're one of the perfect people to ask about this. One of your D-line brethren up in Pittsburgh, Cam Heyward, who was an All-Pro last year. He's been a 5-time All-Pro, first and second team. Just a cornerstone of that D-line. Is underpaid. He's making $14-15 million this year. The guys around him making 23, 24, something like that. How do you feel about Cam's situation? And the Steelers, they're going all in, so they definitely need to get this figured out, right?
I agree with you. They need to rectify this, man. And I don't know if you obviously put Cam up there because age matters. Like, we all know age matters in the contract. But he's outplayed that salary. And if you guys know, like, remember Cam a few days ago said, I told the Steelers, if I outplay this, I'm coming back to the table.
Yep.
So I don't want anybody to think he's not honoring something that they had signed and put into place. And by the way, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, defense has been the catalyst, and he's been one of the stalwarts of that. And I think there's a certain thing as a good faith. He's been in this organization. He's been through the 775 million quarterbacks that you've had on this team and never complained, knowing at times we don't have a shot in hell at winning a Super Bowl. But I'm going to continue to go out here and do what I do and try to promote what we do defensively. I think Cam deserves more money. One, his performance says that. But two, like, bro, he's a Steeler. He's been he's a synonymous figure. He's going to be one of those guys that's hanging up in the stadium and doing all of the things that the Steelers represent. Go and pay the man. You ain't got to pay nobody else.
Yeah, Swagu, you also think about DK Metcalf's getting $30 million, Jalen Ramsey's getting whatever. Never played it down for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Like, this is...
Absolutely.
And I think all Steelers fans are pumped that Omar Khan, the general manager, did all these things, went out and got big. Hey, let's go all in. Why not? We're sick of it.
Yep.
But you can see how Cam Heyward, who's the second longest tenured Pittsburgh Steeler, I believe, tied with Mike Webster behind Ben Roethlisberger with his 15 years. You can say, wait a second. We're giving how much money to everybody that has never done anything for Pittsburgh? Because this is very abnormal for Cam Heyward to experience as well. Now, with that being
100%.
said, Yinzers are telling him not all Yinzers are on Cam Heyward's side, and I don't like it at all. And that is a reminder that the logo will always be bigger than any one person.
Amen.
You know, Cam Heyward's been there 15 years, has been the epitome of the Pittsburgh Steelers. His dad, Ironhead, legendary figure in Pittsburgh. His brother on the team.
Charity.
Like, this entire thing. Cam Heyward, Walter Payton Man of the Year for what he's done in the city of Pittsburgh. Cam Heyward comes out and says, I told him I wanted a little bit more money. They said they didn't want it. And Yinzers go, all of them, Swagu. Not all, but 15 years of good. 15 years of good, great to the city. And then he says, I'm playing for a very limited amount. That wasn't a new contract. I restructured the contract last year. It wasn't a new contract. And now I'm lower than everybody, and I'm all pro. Like, can I get a little bit more money, right? Shut up. Shut up.
This guy doesn't care.
That is how fans will always feel. That's why it's so difficult, and that's why the teams know they ultimately have leverage in the end. They know that. And it's like, inevitably Cam will be loved in Pittsburgh forever. Like, in the long run, Cam will be loved in Pittsburgh forever. But right now, there's people that I think were massive Cam Heyward fans that have gone, Oh, he doesn't want to. He don't want 7. This guy doesn't want 7. That's all we're trying to do. It's the business of football is incredibly wild. But Cam, go get your Cam. We hope you get a little bit, and I think it can happen. And I think Omar Khan can make it happen. Yeah. So,
because if they ask to do what you did, they'll be asking for more money too.
Exactly. So, on the complete opposite side.
It is.
And if he would have played like ass, they would have been saying, "Hey, let's restructure this thing again a little different way."
You 100% right.
Yeah, Swagu, let's stay in the AFC North. What do you think is going to come of the whole Trey Hendrickson situation? We obviously followed that very closely throughout the offseason. He, takes a stand, doesn't show up, and then eventually kind of realizes, like, hey, they're not going to pay me, even though they've said for the last 2 years they are. I'll go back and I guess just be a good company man, be a good soldier. How do you think that affects the Bengals this year? And do you think we'll get any resolution from this, or is this for sure Trey Hendrickson's last year in Cincinnati?
I think it's for sure his last year. Did you watch them on defense last year?
Oh, yeah.
Shit, it wasn't but one bright spot, and that was 91. So the problem becomes for Cincinnati is, and I've talked about this, when you get into this window of really believing that you can win at a high level because of what they got offensively, you got to start paying people. And that's really what it boils down to. Trey has led the league in sacks the last 2 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. Or I know he for sure did last year with 17 and a half. And the man has been in a contract dispute for 1 million days. For what? You don't have anybody else. You don't have it. There is nothing about Trey Hendrickson's resume that should tell the Cincinnati Bengals we don't need to pay this man a high level of dollars, right? Or you drop him and you say, you know what, we gonna trade him. Because we don't respect what you've done in this organization, in this franchise. So let's trade him and see what we can get. I'm sure somebody would love Trey Hendrickson's services. But dude, there is no way that you can go through this season, if you the Cincinnati Bengals, and think that without Trey Hendrickson you got better, or you have a chance to do what you're trying to do, especially with what you have on the other side of the football. It's one of the dumbest things that I've watched in football for the last 2 years. And the Cincinnati Bengals fans, speaking of the fans, Pat, they killed my ass 2 years ago.
I said,
listen, man, this relationship with Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals is bad. He wants out if they not going to restructure a contract. You don't know what you talking about. And then Trey comes back and he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to play it out. Well, I understand the psychology of a football player. At that time, hey, man, let me go and get these millions and act like everything is okay until it's not okay. And finally, it has come to a head once again. And I really don't know the answer. I know one answer in this whole situation. Without Trey Hendrickson, based on what Cincinnati was last year, they're going to be ass on defense, and Joe and them going to have to score 45 to try to win games.
The ass on defense is kind of the expectation, I think, by everybody of the Cincinnati Bengals. And I've asked this, to a few people now. Can you win a Super Bowl playing like that?
Yes. Listen.
Can you win a Super Bowl scoring 50 points, giving up 50 points?
No, Pat, but what if you just can be middle of the pack defensively? That offense is good enough. What if you could just get a half better on defense, right? And you can't do that without 91. You're not going to do that without him. So there is always this new hope when you come into an NFL season that, okay, schematically we'll be a little bit better. We fixed a lot of our flaws from last year. We can make these changes and do all of this. Man, if you ain't got no pass rusher in the NFL, when your ass is on the road playing Pat Mahomes in the fourth quarter, or when Josh Allen is on a 3rd and 9, and you looking at the defensive line like we got no doggone shot to get anybody on the ground, that is when Trey Hendrickson, that extra 12, 13 million he asking for, you going to feel like shit that you didn't pay it to him.
Yeah, that would be a good time to also remind yourself that's why we paid him 12, 13 million. That tackle right there literally just happened. You talk about the AFC, and I know the Cincinnati Bengals have obviously represented the AFC in the Super Bowl in this era. I very much understand that. But you talked about he's going to have to sack Patrick Mahomes sometime late in a playoff game if you want to get going. Josh Allen, he's going to have to corral him somehow. Lamar Jackson, I mean, you just keep going. The entire AFC is an onslaught.